Guys, make sure you check out our merch shop. We have new stuff like this, and damn, I wish I had more stuff. Next week, I'll bring something else.
We'll get some.
wearbefit.com/shop. We're going to put a link anyway. Enjoy the episode. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Be Fit Brothers podcast. And this guy's serious right now? See, this is why I can't work like this. I can't. It seems like you can't walk into a gym nowadays without avoiding somebody's tripod or getting in the way of somebody's camera.
We're all influencers now.
I mean, you guys are.
It's the creator economy, bruv.
The creator economy, like we always say, attention is money.
Today we want to discuss this whole phenomena of filming in the gym and this new age gym culture. Why it can sometimes be a good thing, quite frankly, to record yourself, and we're going to discuss why. But also when it crosses over into entitlement, narcissism, the potential downfalls of it, and where that whole gym culture and as it ties into influencers and just posting on social media, like where are we heading? Where are we at?
I always record myself. I like to watch it back while I'm... Oh, wait, we're talking about exercise?
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah.
Wrong podcast, that's after.
Of course. Yeah, that phenomenon. Anyway, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Be Fit Brothers podcast. I'm Victor, that guy. I'm not saying his name anymore. He's like Voldemort. And we're here to discuss...
that.
You like it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like Prince. He's going to turn his name into a symbol. The forehead symbol.
The money symbol.
The money. Money on his forehead.
So let's start with the good. What are some good reasons why you would want to film yourself training? Wait, first let me start off by saying that doesn't happen in this studio. And when we say gym, we always, we call ourselves a gym for lack of a better word, but we're talking more about like membership gyms. I don't think that you go into most like fitness studios or boutique studios and see people like with a tripod set up filming themselves. That's especially more of a culture of like your membership gym.
Yeah, especially in like a group class setting. I don't think you're going to see that a lot unless you're like supremely narcissistic. I don't know. I can't imagine you doing that.
Yeah, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah. With that being said, what do you think are some of the good things about
So, for example, we're online coaches. So one of the great use cases is I need to see your technique and critique it, because that's the whole name of the game, is improving our exercise technique, getting better in our lifts. So I'll ask my clients to record themselves doing certain things, send it back to me, and then I critique it. So that is filming yourself with a purpose.
Yeah.
However, I would say that is not even 5% of the reason why people usually film themselves.
Absolutely not. It's usually to show off.
We're going to get into exactly why.
Yeah, let's not get into the bad yet.
Just
let's stay on our silver lining.
Let's say you're not working with a coach, like an online coach. Like you set up the tripod and you film yourself. What other possible benefits can it have?
I mean, exercise technique is definitely number one. Like you said, even if you're sending it to somebody or not, especially with the more technical lifts, like a deadlift, you want to make sure that, your hips, your knees are all locking up at the same time. All these little things that you might not be able to notice while you're actually doing it is a good idea to, have a third person, so to speak, point of view.
The idea being that you don't really know what your technique looks like. Like there's so many times where we'll tell our client, shift your weight back on your heels a little bit, or there's a little bit of a lateral shift when you're squatting. And I'll be like, really? So when you look at yourself doing it, you can see all these little things that are not obvious while you're actually doing the lift. And it helps to see yourself from different angles as well.
Although I would say, kind of like to go against that, some of these things are so hyper technical that you can see it and still kind of not know what to do to correct it. And that's when you reach out to somebody a little more knowledgeable.
But it can still be useful if you're not so much a beginner. I think beginners they're going to be all over the place. But let's say you're an intermediate lifter and you want to take your lifts more seriously. There is a time and a place where you have enough of a base knowledge to know, okay, according to what I've read or what I've seen online, my elbows should be here. This angle is not quite right. I'm doing a little bit of a butt wink. Yeah. Whatever that might be, you can kind of see it. Of course, they're not going to have like what we call coach's eye, which is the little
like lateral shift of the tailbone. Yeah.
But it's still useful.
Yeah.
Well, I would say this is what we're about to criticize, but also if you are creating content, or if you are the type of person that wants to put themselves on social media and kind of showcase the fact that you're working out, these are my workouts, or you're trying to get into the fitness influencer game.
Yeah, that's definitely, I would say, like number two, because a lot of people are doing that nowadays. Even when you have like a small following, you got to build it up somewhere. And if you're doing a fitness Instagram, you're not just going to say like,
I work out.
I work out. I promise. No, you got to actually like show some of your stuff. People want to see your program. People want to see your lifts. Like even the bigger bodybuilders or people like that like to showcase their lifts too, like Sam Sulek and all those guys we always talk about.
Yep. And then of course, let's say you we all love a good story, a good motivational journey. So those stories have to start somewhere. And if you record and document that process, you end up with a really nice looking thing to look back on, to post, to encourage others, to inspire. So there is a time and a place for documenting your journey, whether that's fitness or anything else.
Yeah, and those are, I really like those because it's usually not somebody doing it for attention. They're doing it literally just to show themselves or their friends how far they've come, or how arduous, how difficult the journey might have been for them. Because it's not easy. Those people are usually not posting it there and like getting the lighting all right. This is like a kind of private, off to the side type of thing.
Because there's nothing to show off in the beginning.
Yeah, you're not showing off.
As a matter of fact, it's kind of embarrassing.
Exactly.
All right, now let's quickly cross over to the bad. When does this get from, okay, cool, you're filming your lifts, to, all right, there might be like a potentially bad?
Before we continue with the bad, I want to say something that we actually used to record our lifts, and then we realized nobody wants to watch two 40-year-old men do boring lifts. We're not 40 yet. But really, I think after a while of doing this for so long, well, we're going to show ourselves doing pull-ups again, show ourselves doing like single arm rows. After a while, it just kind of gets repetitive.
And that is a perfect segue, because if you are the type of person that just posts the same things, which is how we actually work out, right?
Yeah.
We do repeat the same things. You might fall into that thing of, well, this isn't novel, this isn't exciting anymore. People don't really, it isn't resonating. Oh, the guy's doing that list again.
Yeah,
great. Whoop-de-doo.
Unless you're doing like super impressive weight or something crazy along those lines, I feel like the trainers.
Or you're in a niche community. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I feel like the respected trainers that work out just like we said, they do the same lift. It's kind of boring. Have to like preface these videos they post are like,
true.
I tried these funky exercises. I don't usually do this, but here we go. And then they put it because they know, like what we're saying right now, that's not your usual workout. Is you're just doing it for eyeballs.
Yep.
Which is nothing wrong with, again.
So, good segue to
the bad.
All right, so switching over to the bad, I think that the number one thing that upsets me the most is the entitlement of, I set this tripod in a space that's a shared space. It's not my space, but I set it up and it's pointing towards me. So you better like watch out for it and not cross in front of me, not do anything in the back that I might not like. It's like,
don't look at me.
This is my space now because I set this up.
Yeah.
And it's just complete entitlement. There's no better word for it. That's all it is.
Completely. Like, who do you think you are to come into a space that everybody's paying the same amount? You all have the same right to be here, and you're setting up like, oh no, this is mine. Like, no, there's no way. Also, along with that, these are the same people that they set up their whole thing. They're usually like in little tiny shorts. They're usually trying to get attention. Then, oh, but don't look at me because I don't want attention. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that later. I have it written down because I do want to get into these issues of people thinking that you're checking them out, or if the guy even so much as like peeks over, it's like, look at the pervert, and then you put him out there on social media on blast, like, look at this pervert checking me out.
When that happened to you, I was so upset, man.
I know.
I can't believe they caught you like that.
I know.
Like
well,
a deer in headlights.
I was the one exposing the pervert. I was the one in the.
No, you were the pervert.
No.
Can we see the face you made when they got caught?
I was like
that. Boom, and they. It's crazy.
But I would say that actually 8 times out of 10, it's the person that posted that people start to get upset with, because it's like, who do you think you are? The guy didn't really even. It's always a girl exposing a guy. Let's be honest.
And if the girls check out the guys don't give a shit.
Yeah, exactly. And it's always like, come on, you're exaggerating. Like they barely even peeked over. Like this is like what do they call it? Main character syndrome.
Yep.
So, but let's go back to the entitlement, because it's an important point, and I think like the biggest issue that I think anyone has, because I don't think anyone would care if people are setting up tripods now. Maybe they will care that I don't want to be in your footage. Like, I don't know where that's going. There's going to be, I don't know, 100,000 people watching that, and I'm just in the background like
looking like a slob.
Yeah.
On the treadmill.
So I could see certain people that are more private getting completely turned off by going to a gym where it's a bunch of people filming themselves.
Absolutely. I mean, I know I really wouldn't care, but I also wouldn't want to be on the forefront of it. Like I'm more private. I go to the gym, I do my workout, and I get out. You know what I mean? I don't want to be there in the middle of your video, like I said, looking like a hog, looking with my Hialeah shirt.
You want to take control over how you look online, not some candid thing that somebody took of you.
It's the same as when you post a picture like, oh, in a group, and everybody came out like shit, but you posted because you look good.
Yeah.
That's that same syndrome.
But it's just an entitlement of feeling like, this is my content creation. I'm making it how I want. I set up the tripod here. I'm in this space. Like, don't you dare get in front of the camera.
And it's like people want to see me,
and it's just
and it's like
it's a bad expectation. It's the wrong expectation. This isn't your place. Like if this was your gym and you set apart this time to do your thing, then I can understand it. It's like, okay, people are getting in the way of something that like is legitimately yours. But that's not what we're talking about here at all.
this is a communal gym. This is something like that everybody paid for. Everybody has the same, like I said earlier,
That's the
everybody
other
has the same
thing.
right.
Everybody has the same. Everybody actually pays.
If I wanted to, I can stand in front of your camera and work out.
Yeah.
And you can't tell me anything.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I've seen those people get kicked out of those gyms all the time because they think they're in the right.
Yeah.
Oh, this person, and they start problems, and the owner comes in like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, I don't want this type of energy, type of person in here. So get the hell out.
And we say it all the time. The gym for some people is kind of a daunting, scary place. You don't want to have somebody, like we just said, recording you. Like, what the hell's that?
Yeah. So don't do that. You might end up on Joy Swole's page.
And if you are gonna do it,
everybody out.
Be respectful about it, man. I don't think there's anything wrong.
Yeah,
with,
I mean, don't be the entitled person.
But you can set up your camera. If somebody walks in front of you, oh, it's fine. Just keep doing your set. It's not that serious.
I don't know if I have the
wherewithal.
I don't know what the word is. La cara, it would be in Spanish, to do that in a public gym.
Lack of shame is what
lack
you call
of
it.
Shame.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. Oh God,
I just don't
Dude,
have.
I wouldn't
that,
even take a
here's my
selfie. I
tripod.
wouldn't even take a selfie, let alone set up a camera and.
Yeah, no, that's crazy
What do you guys
to me.
think, huh? No.
It's
and
wild.
it's weird because we are quote unquote fitness people.
Yeah, but we own a gym. We have to market for that gym. We record while we're in our own gym.
But either way, we're not setting up a tripod and like preacher curls.
I
Like,
personally think it's super cringe, as the kids say, to even like when they say like when you catch influencers in the wild, like I would be caught dead going, here I am in this crowded group of people with my little camera and my light set up, and they're oblivious to their surroundings, and I'm just not like that. I'm completely aware of everything that's going on around me. So
yeah, and I'm
gonna do that.
I'm gonna upset some people with this next. Usually, I've been
go.
on an upsetting kick.
Let's do it.
I hate when any influencer sets up their camera, sets up their thing, and does like a private moment.
Dance. Oh,
And it's like,
a cry on
So
film.
you just recorded, you put it there, and recorded you and your fiance. Oh my God, we're looking at some exciting news together to react. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't have anything private anymore. Like, it's
My
nothing.
favorite was the nurse that recorded herself crying in the hospital
I think that was fake.
on the hallway.
I think
No.
No. I was talking about the one that did a TikTok dance while her patient was dying in the back. That one was fake. That one was fake.
And it was like, it just came out of
I remember that.
surgery and then drops down to the
Yeah.
floor, and it's
I
very
love all the
dumb.
comments.
She did a great job.
All the comments are like, so you set up your camera, put it there, then
She's
came
like,
around,
hold the cry.
and then started. Yeah, very believable.
Anywho, since we already touched on it, let's get back into the whole like accusation of somebody being a pervert, because that's a serious accusation.
Yeah,
That's
let's
why
get
people
that out of the way.
That's why people get upset. When it happened to me, I really wasn't. Okay,
I know you weren't.
But seriously, it is a big accusation. I think that's why people get upset, because it's like, okay, first of all, you're there, you're trying to do this thing, you're usually dressed provocatively.
Before you continue, sorry to interrupt you. Usually dressed provocatively. Let's preface it by saying there are a lot of creepy people in the gyms.
100%.
There are a lot of them,
100%.
and they will look at you. And a lot of women wear sweaters on their waist, so you don't look at them.
No, and I don't think
And
there's
I
anything
agree
wrong
with them.
that.
Aha,
but the
exactly.
problem is that when you just start accusing anyone who glances,
Yeah, for
where do
sure.
we draw the line? There needs to be a line.
That's what I wanted to say, exactly.
There needs to be a line, for sure.
Exactly.
And I didn't by any means insinuate that if
The
you're
women are in the
wearing-
wrong.
No, that if you're wearing something provocative, then you're
They were asking for it.
Oh, please. It's like every podcast I go a little deeper to get canceled. But no, I'm not saying that at
The
all.
misogynist.
I completely agree that there are perverts out there.
Okay.
However,
now we can continue. You usually
it's like the whole false accusations that ruins people's lives. Like you have to. I know that when you have to bleep that out.
just say
That ruins people's lives.
just say grape.
So take it seriously is all I'm saying. You
Yeah.
know, like I've seen some of these videos and it's like the guy barely looks.
Or the guy's like in the
glances
background, he like
over,
looks at the
or maybe he
camera.
looks over to see what she's doing, and it's like boom, pervert. Look at this guy. Can you
Just
believe
looking at
him?
my
Any
hamstrings while I did
excuse to
RDLs.
look. It's like, all right, come on. We should have some sort of standard to what's inappropriate behavior and what is just like, okay, you're next to me working out.
Yep. Or
I'm
you,
gonna glance over.
Exactly. And sometimes I can't help it. I'm just looking at somebody, whether I think they're attractive, or they have a big nose, or they have a funny shirt on. I'm
don't
just
have to have a
looking.
reason.
I don't need to have a reason. Sometimes my eyes just like wander, and it doesn't
I
make.
feel like people like that, it's like the narcissism of, I know this guy's
Yeah.
dying to check me
Yeah.
out, so here we go. I'm gonna catch him. Watch. I'm gonna turn on the camera, and sure
And
enough,
it's your face.
he looked over.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like I feel like you're like almost
Expecting
asking
it.
for
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
So anyway, I hope I navigated that.
Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in to our last podcast episode. I'll be back next week with Emma.
So now let's talk about like the performative aspect, which we had a whole podcast about with morning routine guy. Who, by the way, we refused to say his name.
I think I said it once.
I don't think so. I think we gave him 0.
No, I said his name because I remember I was
say his name.
Say his name. I remember I was tripping out. I was like, his name is Ashton. If you stop and think about it, never even met an Ashton. Also, isn't that usually a white name?
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say that. I'm too close to getting canceled already.
I'll say it. I've never met a black Ashton. I'll say that.
There you go. The performative aspect, right? At what point does it become less about the training and more about the content creation? I would argue when it comes to influencers, it's a lot about the content creation.
Yeah.
Not with all of them, but
yeah,
it's more about the angles and the lighting and how do I look as opposed to
am I flexing?
Let me focus, because you can only focus on so many things at once. If you're really focused on your training, then you would argue that you don't have the time or bandwidth or whatever to set up the camera, multiple angles, the lighting, double check that I look good. Like,
the perfect
you're worried
outfit.
about like your actual workout, putting all your energy into this set. So at what point does it become just more performative? I'm doing this for content.
And at what point does it become just for clicks and eyeballs? Because you'll see the people setting up like right behind their ass and they're doing RDL and it's like, oh yeah, this is strictly so you guys can see my hamstring engagement. Like,
it's gotten to the point where I can predict what, and again, it's mostly women, what women are have an OnlyFans have an OnlyFans account by their fitness content.
Yep.
I know by a certain way that they post.
You mean, is it this?
If I
is this a
click on
giveaway?
it and I'm like, I know that there's gonna be a link to your OnlyFans if I click on this, because if you were an actual fitness influencer, you wouldn't be posting these angles.
There was a phenomenon a few years ago. Remember the yogis would come out and it's like,
ooh,
look at this yoga pose. It's like an aerial shot of legs spread. You're like
this. What? The one with the legs out like this?
You're like, well, I'm not sure if you're doing this for the right reasons.
The right reason, yeah. I'm not sure most people do yoga in the West for the right reasons, but that's a whole nother conversation. The last thing I'll say about this is that if you are the type of person who is getting into this content creation space, specifically when it comes to fitness, I would be careful that this is a trap that you can get into. Even if you start with the right intentions, like, I'm just gonna document my journey. I'm just gonna, I have a vested interest in becoming better at this, so I wanna record my lifts, record my training. This is gonna be training first, content creation second. Something happens as you start growing where you start to flip that. Instead of the training first, it becomes more about, because it's addicting, right? Man. It's addicting the likes and the
it sucks when you post your video in the big shirt, doing a proper workout, and you get 200 likes. Then you take the shirt off, you have a nice striations in the chest, abs, post the same similar video, 5,000 likes.
Yep.
So
it's an
typically,
incentive game.
Your mind is going to gravitate to, damn, well, that did well. I'm going to do more of that. And then, like you said, you slowly fall into that trap of, now I'm just doing it for like these thirst trap type of content.
That's part of a bigger conversation when it comes to social media in general, which is the escalation of shock content and shock value, because the things that used to work 6, 7, 8 years ago, they don't work anymore. You don't get engagement for that anymore. You get crickets. So what do people do? They start doing the things that get a little more engagement. This is how you see the ridiculous video of like, somebody getting hit by a car and then, oh, buy my shoes over here, because it's so shocking.
Yeah, it's good.
And then you see like Move You, which is another page that we follow, where all their content is like threading the needle
line of sexuality
is this sexual? Is it like, why are you in that position, in that angle? And they have good content, but it's purposely shocking and a little bit polarizing and controversial.
I'm gonna take a stab at them. I'm gonna punch up. And say they haven't been the same since the shirtless guy left.
Yeah, I mean, the shirtless guy was my favorite.
I feel like they went too far.
He has a name, it's Andrew.
I feel like they went too far into the niche of pushing that hypersexuality. It's like, they start the video with like a thong, somebody in a thong, and they're doing it. It's like, okay, I get it. I get the game. But at what point have you gone too far?
Yeah, these are, by the way, if you have no idea what we're talking about, they have an artist draw the muscles of what they're trying to explain, which is really cool. And it takes forever to do, so respect for that. So if they're talking about the abs, they'll draw your whole like rectus abdominis and all the other muscles, and then they'll show you doing stuff. But half the time, the model has her legs between her head, and it'll be like, talking about like your anus muscles and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, come on, this is a little crazy. But they do have good information, but I agree with you. But maybe that's just kind of what it takes in this day and age. I don't completely agree with that, but I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I think it's either you do really good like we always say, scientific database content for forever, or you can take this shortcut. But at what point does that shortcut,
Or you play a little bit of the game.
at what point does that shortcut mean that you're selling out what your actual values were? Like it's a tough line to teeter.
Yeah, I agree with that. So now let's shift over. I wanted to talk about something that I find really interesting, and that is the use of fitness as a status symbol. I think that fitness has become something where, it's highly sought after, that if you are the type of person who works out or started working out or whatever, you post about it because you want to let everybody know, hey, I'm working out.
Yep,
Like, look
this
at
is
this.
me.
Like, I'm strong, or I'm trying to do this, or I'm running a marathon, or I'm lifting weights, or look, I got my first pull-up. It really is like social, it's a status symbol.
Yeah, it's like
really.
a social acceptance thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of guys post it when they're either recently single, they start posting their workouts, or when they're trying to get attention, like peacocking, they start posting their workouts because, like you said, it's a societal, like, oh, this person's quote unquote hip because they work
Funny
out.
enough, when they're in a stable relationship, that kind of drops off, right? For the most part.
Because why do you need that attention?
Exactly.
Unless you're doing it, like we said, for the right purpose,
Unless
which
you're a
is
narcissist like me, and I
Yeah.
just want more attention.
obviously. Ugh,
I don't even post that much.
I hated the wink.
That was a bad wing.
Ugh.
I was like, I'm not a smooth criminal by any means. The good Lord did not bless me with charm.
blessed him with narcissism on the forehead.
But okay, let's go deeper into that, because one of the things that, this is a little controversial, but one of the things that I don't like about this is the seasonal yo-yoing aspect of this. Like, I'm this fit, almost damn near influencer at this point. Like, I can recall somebody that started training with us not too long ago. You'll probably know who I'm talking about. It's like, I'm fitness this, I studied exercise physiology, I'm this and that, fitness, drops off, you don't hear about them for 6 months. Now I'm doing something different. It's like, if you're gonna do it, stick with it. I respect anyone who like tries and stops and tries again and stops and tries again. But before you're gonna put yourself out there as an influencer or somebody that people should like respect or aspire to be, like, put the reps in. You need to have a proven track record over a long time in order to like really call yourself a fitness influencer or a coach,
Yeah.
or something like that.
And what do you say about the people that aren't coaches necessarily, but they are what I call like the flip-floppers, that they're at one gym, oh, this is the best gym ever, this is the best time I've ever had, I've never seen better results. Then you don't see, like you said, they don't see them again 6-7 months, they're somewhere else. And then they're starting this thing again. Oh, this is the best gym I've ever been to, blah, blah. What do you think about those people?
I think that you losing credibility with each time that you flip-flop like that. So that's all. If you want to play that game, that's great, but you are losing credibility. It's like the person who does have influence and is advertising for all kinds of different products, like all wide array, without any like values or anything that binds them all together. After a while, you're just like, oh, bro, you're selling another product for money.
Yeah, you're just selling out.
So whoever throws money at you, you're gonna, I respect the influencers that they only have a few sponsorships and they really believe in them. So again, it's like, play that game at your own.
But you said you lose credibility. What if I'm just an average Joe and I don't care? I'm not an influencer. I don't care about credibility.
You lose credibility from your peers.
You think
like, I don't
notice that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You notice. I notice.
I know you and I notice because we're trainers and we're hypercritical of things like this. But I feel like we also can tell when somebody's like, we look at their Instagram, we're like, yeah, you're not gonna last 6 weeks. Like,
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I can see like half your, I wouldn't say audience, but like friend group of people who follow you be like, oh, another gym, huh? Well, let's see how long this lasts before the next one is the best gym you've ever been to.
I don't know. I feel like people are kind of like hopeful for each other. They're like, oh man, I'm so happy you're doing so well. Like, I don't know.
I think humans are really good at pattern recognition. And fine, some of them are going to get got. This is the new thing. The last thing you tried to sell me 6 months ago, you don't even believe it anymore, but this is your new thing.
I know somebody that did it I'm not going to get into that.
But my point is a little more controversial, which is I can see people saying, well, dude, like, you're being a little harsh. Like, we all struggle to get into fitness. What's wrong with, oh, I'm into fitness now.
And
I'm posting. Then you don't hear about me for 6 months. And now I'm back again, posting. Is there anything wrong with that? Is what I said, like, unjustified?
I mean, I think it's a little harsh in the wording because that's just who you are. But I do agree. And we know how it is with the yo-yoing and how dangerous yo-yoing can be. What we call yo-yoing is, the inconsistency of diet, fitness, all these of your exercise. We know how the harm that can do to your body. And we know that you're kind of putting out this BS, like, just stick to it for a little bit before you start documenting, I think is kind of what you're trying to say.
Or if you are going to document it, be real about it. Like, I've struggled with this before.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
really trying this
Yeah.
time. I'm not making any promises.
Or like, guys, keep me accountable. If you don't see me posting about going to the
Exactly.
gym, keep me accountable. That's the part of social media that I do like, hey, I'm at the gym and I'm like, okay, like I'll send you a little clapping emojis if I see you at the gym, if I see you working out, if you went for a run. And I do like the idea of somebody saying like, hey, look, if you don't see me doing this, call me out.
We're
Because-
also coaches. I
Yeah.
think we look at it from a different perspective. Like, the average person, I can see them listening and be like, I don't see anything at all wrong with that. We're just posting, oh, I'm into fitness now. No, I'm not.
But you know
No,
what?
I'm into fitness,
I feel like
but
people.
I do.
I feel like the people that post that just want to be celebrated, as opposed to what you should do it for, to be held accountable. They're doing it to, hey, look, cheer me on. I went to the gym. Like,
That's a really good point. I completely agree with that, because then it shifts your incentive. Remember, humans are all about incentives. So
Yeah.
instead of the incentive being, I legitimately want to do this for my health,
Yeah.
to be stronger, whatever that might be, it's you're getting the dopamine from all the claps and you go,
Yeah,
like you're
good-
doing
oh, good
great.
stuff.
Oh, that's it. I did it. I basically did it.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
now I can just go back to, and it's funny. People even, we learned this from somebody that's like close to us that knows a lot about like psychology. And it was like, people get a dopamine hit from just thinking about starting
Yep.
their fitness journey. Putting the gym that they want to go to on their bookmarks, like that's a little dopamine hit.
Buying
And
their
that's
shoes,
enough.
buying their
and they're
workout
not going to
shoes.
actually go.
Yeah.
They might not go
That's
for another
crazy.
6 months, but they feel good enough about that. And we've all said that, like, oh, New Year's is coming up. Then I'll get my shit
Yeah.
together.
And
Then
you-
I'll be like this hardcore.
that's already- you're in a better
But
mood.
there's still 3 weeks, so that means
yeah, those claps and those people celebrating you, stop after your first month or two posting the same thing. Oh, I went to the gym.
then you got to hold yourself
Then
accountable.
then
Nobody
you
claps
lose
for
that.
me when I put my exercise videos.
Exactly. You see? So after a while, it kind of, like you said, it falls on you and you lose that dopamine of the people celebrating you. So
You got to have a deeper reason.
that reason is fleeting. You can't just use that for that reason. That's why I like the idea of using your social media to be held accountable rather than to be just celebrated.
Yeah. And in defense of myself and why I'm so harsh about it, I'm the type that I
autism.
like for people to prove me wrong, right?
Yeah,
I think
I know
I
that.
like a little bit of, I'm not the, there are some coaches that, and I'm not talking about my clients, like once you like pay me for personal training, that's different, because
Now
now
it's
I
on
am going to
you,
be
yeah, now it's
encouraging.
on you,
I'm going to
yeah.
be encouraging, right? But when somebody tells me that they're going to, oh, I'm going to do this for the next 6 months, this is my goal, and I say, we'll see.
Well, that's actually not true, because sometimes people pay you and then you
I'm
tell them to
still
their
doing
face.
that.
You'll tell them to
We'll
your
see.
face.
I'll say, we'll see.
That's what I respect. It's
Like,
not
oh,
like,
everybody's motivated.
Yeah.
Yeah. And week 1, everybody's motivated.
yeah, he's always telling them, he's like, oh yeah, no, I have a goal by July. We're like, yeah, we're gonna see if you're still here by July. Because it's true. And let's be honest, 80% of people
We're right.
prove you right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I do, like, the ones that don't, they feel really motivated by the fact that, like, oh, I'm going to prove this guy.
Exactly.
If for nothing else, I want to prove this guy wrong.
And we're not saying that you don't believe in them. That's not that type of thing, because you do, and you're a very supportive coach, and you're empathetic. But it's true. It's good to call people out on their BS, because sometimes that can't be enough. Like, you saying it is not
to me,
enough.
that's motivating, because if I were to tell somebody, like,
That's
oh,
what
I'm
motivates
gonna-
you too, though.
Yeah, that's my personality type. But it's like, oh, I want to, like, let's say build this business. It's going to be super hard. This and that, have all these obstacles. And then you tell me,
Show it to
there's
me.
no way you could do that, man.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have it in, okay. Like, that on a bad day where I feel unmotivated, that might keep me, like, going, because
Prove this big forehead guy
I
wrong.
want to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
And, at the end of the day, that is a form of accountability.
Yep.
I don't believe that you always need the rah-rah, it's okay, like, you're doing great, or like,
The
there's only so
participation
much
trophy.
that can take you,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
It's very shallow.
How do we even get into this? I'll say one more thing about this, like, everybody wanting to become a fitness influencer now, is that they're not paying their dues in many ways. And then when I start to get, like, a little, and I would never, like, go in and correct you. I'm not that type. Like, you do you. But it's like, you start to think you know it all. Oh, these are the supplements that are the best. This is great. This is the best type of way to work out. And it's like, hold your horses here. You've been working out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Like, that's when you're stepping on the toes of, like, actual professionals.
And a lot of these people, especially, I'm gonna call them out, like Beachbody or people that get these like weekend certifications, go into it and automatically assume like, oh, this is what's best. Like, you have to take these things. If you don't take BCAAs and this fat burner and this and that, then you're wasting your time at the gym. And it's like you just said, you're stepping on the toes of these people that did the actual research, that have been in the business for 20, 30 years. Like,
And let's face it, we were those people at one point, but we've done it for so long that we recognize the pattern. In the beginning, you think you know it all.
Yeah.
You think, oh, because you saw a few results at the gym and you read a few things.
Or you had one client that saw results with this.
And then you humble yourself by doing this for so long, working with different people that are like, oh, that didn't work with this person.
Yep.
Oh, wow, I never considered the fact that if you have 3 kids, you don't have all the time in the world. Oh, I never
if you have knee pain, you can't do
if
squats. You can't go heavy on these
PCOS,
things.
if you have a hormonal issue, like it's not as easy as I thought. That humbles you, and now you stop talking like that, like you know it all. So you see that like young trainer or young influencer, you're like, dude, you gotta humble yourself.
There was some on that Jubilee episode that we discussed in a few episodes ago about the steroids versus non-steroid users. One of those guys was a 22 or 21-year-old dipshit who was going out there speaking in absolutes. First of all, there's nothing absolute in the world of fitness. I would say that. So
absolutely.
All right, I'm out. Get me out of here. So there's no absolutes in the world of fitness. So you can't just be saying that for every person, this is going to work, or you need to do this, or like just the other day I was saying how electrolytes are overrated. And then I was like, that's not necessarily true, because if I did a little research, which is what everybody should do.
You should do, yeah.
And women that are going through menopause don't retain water as well. So they do need electrolytes when they're sweating excessively. And that's something that I was like, oh, okay. So you could drink all the water you want. If your body's not holding on to it, you could still be dehydrated. So that's when electrolytes come into play.
Sometimes you can drink too much water and flush certain minerals and electrolytes out of your system. That's why you need sodium and other
exactly. And then I was able to recommend it to a client that is going through that, and she was grateful that I actually took the time to do it, because it, like I said, there's no absolute. I can't just say, you don't need electrolytes. Like you might not, but this person might.
I think what we're getting to here, which is a great like theme in itself, is that one of the cons of giving everyone a voice, everyone's a content creator, is you haven't earned the quote unquote right, this is for lack of a better term, to talk about certain subjects. That's why there's so much misinformation. That's why there's so many people steering people into all kinds of wrong ways. Because back in the day, back in my day, the way we used to do things is, and mind you, there's problems with this too. It was a lot of gatekeeping, right? Like if I wanted to get into a company, all right, you start as an intern.
Yeah.
You start by grabbing somebody's coffee. Then you get into like position number 1, then position number 2, and then you don't just jump up to the guy that gets to shout, the company message to all the employees. You got to earn the right to get there. But now every 17-year-old with a good body thinks that they could be a coach. So from our point of view, from somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, it's like, humble yourself. If you're 18, you should have the humility to say that you don't know it all, that there's still a lot to learn, that you're learning, and you can still make content, create content by all means. That's why I love the whole documentation, not preaching.
Yeah.
Instead of like preaching and telling people what to do, it's like, here's what I'm doing. Here's what's working for me. Oh, I worked with this person. This worked for them.
Yeah.
Because there's who can tell you, no, that's what you're actually doing. But when you start saying, this is the only way, keto is the way, or I did this.
If you're not on the carnivore diet, you're wasting time.
And I hate the whole, if I could do it, then anyone could do it. No, that's not absolutely false.
And I think the problem that comes from is that people think fitness is this like simple thing, like, I used to go to the gym and I would just do chest press and this and that.
Out.
That's it, bro. It's easy. Why do you need a professional for? And it's like, you wouldn't go to the doctor and start telling them like, bro, trust me, the only way to get your cholesterol down is to eat carnivore diet, because trust me, I did it. No, that's a medical doctor who's done a lot of years of research and a lot of studying. So, treat the field with respect. Keep an open mind. Be ready to learn. Don't just be spewing BS that you think might work for you just because it worked on one person.
Yeah. That's one of the issues I've always had with our industry, and it does make you very cynical and very jaded after a while, that you're like, we talk about it all the time, the degrees on the wall, the fact that we actually studied this stuff. Like, people don't care as much, so follow somebody with a six-pack who is a really good talker, without asking for any qualifications. So that's just something we have to deal with and continue putting out good content.
Unfortunately, in that same vein, the reason that it happens is because 90% of trainers are mediocre. And that's just what it is. It's just a fact.
You talked about a medical doctor.
And if you take offense to that, then you're one of them.
The reason why doctors are respected is because they go through a shit ton of schooling, and there's no, like, the credentialism for trainers is a joke. It's an absolute joke. Anyone can pass a certification test, no offense, but anyone can pass it with a little bit of studying.
Plus, there's so many of them. You can get a lesser one,
a crappy one,
and then still say like, "Well, I'm certified. I'm a CBT." Like, okay.
So that's when people tell me, when a new trainer tells me, "Oh, I'm certified," I tell you, "Congratulations." That's one step of 12. Like, you're just starting.
Nothing to me. When I got my certification, and after all the studying and everything, I came in here and I started teaching. I was humble enough to say, "Oh, I'm not ready for this at all. I have to shadow a few more clients. I have to look at a few more classes, because I had all the technical know-how, but that means nothing when it comes to dealing with somebody's issues, with a class full of people that everybody's different, you know, like that's
You become more humble every year, right?
Absolutely.
No matter how long you've been doing this, and that's why, you know, when somebody comes in, or worse, we've shifted over to talking about trainers, but we're talking about like people who post content online. It's like, you know, kind of, who do you think you are, you know, talking about that.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, again, document all you want. This is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm doing. That's great. No one can like tell you, no, because it's what you're actually doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, just respect.
And if you're writing a program, you want to sell your program, hey, this is my whatever glutes and hamstring program, perfect, sell it, put it out there, but don't say this is the definitive guide to growing your glutes and hamstrings, because who are you? Like,
You just
come
have
on,
a nice
man.
butt.
Thank you.
In the best cases. So just to close, I feel like we're limited in how we can talk about this because we're not exposed to it. Like I said, we own a fitness studio. That doesn't happen here ever. So I only know about what I see on social media, what I hear other people talking about. So I wouldn't even be able to tell you, where is this headed? Is it becoming more of a problem, or are people like putting a stop to it? Like, hey, let's calm down with the lighting and the tripods and all that, and we're here to work out. So we'd love to hear from people that actually do go to membership gyms. Like, how much of a problem even is this? Do you guys mind? Do you have a problem with people setting up a tripod? Do you want to be in their video? Has this happened to you? Like, post your anecdotes. We'd love to hear it.
And is it a generational thing? Is it like younger people doing it? I tend to think it's people in like their 20s, maybe early 30s doing it, because I feel like the younger generation isn't even doing that anymore. Like, it's just a bunch of broccoli-headed kids spotting each other on the bench. Something I heard
Generation Alpha.
Something I heard that happens at gyms now is people vape between sets, but that's another story that we're not gonna get into. So guys, tell us, do people do it at your gym? Do you mind? Are you as cynical as we are? Because God knows we're cynical about it. Let us know in the comments.
Also, you're gonna see a lot more tripods in this gym because I just bought a new camera.
Yeah, so.
And I intend on using it.
And we intend to use it for content.
That's right, baby.
But that being said, guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the BFit Brothers podcast. Squeeze that into the back.